So we get asked a lot, how did ASKJIM come about, who started it, all this sort of stuff. And basically what happened was that one day I was sitting at my computer and I had a webcam and I was doing a lot of screen share videos for some franchisors about content and some ideas. And I thought, why not do a live Q&A with Jim? There's a lot of stuff that I watch online from sports people and that, and they use, let's say, Instagram Live a lot. They'll go on there and they'll do interactive Q&As with fans. And I thought, why not try that and do that with Jim? So we did try and do one with Jim in front of my computer. It was very, very rough and raw. If you go back to the very first episode, you can see where it's come from, just to see how it started. And it was quite an idea which I didn't know what was going to happen with it. And to say we're here now is quite amazing. And it's a massive thanks to all the support of the franchisees and franchisors who post the first couple of shows. We're actually emailing Jim saying this is great, to keep reinforcing it. So we hope we can keep doing that. And if you've got any great feedback for Jim or for myself on the show and what we can do to improve, or any suggestions, please keep providing that. We do get franchisees and Zors give us suggestions, and we do try and take them on board and implement them to the show, and we have done that. So that's been really good. But the whole thing about it is to get a lot of the stuff that Jim talks about on the show, I hear all the day in the office. So all the great advice about business, his philosophy on life and this and that, I get to hear it all the day. So it's very selfish for me just being able to hear it. So I want to try and put more of that to you guys. And also the other benefit was transparency in franchising. Unfortunately, franchising is getting a massively bad rap in the media at the moment because of some bad plays. And it really shouldn't, because the way those bad players, they're more the retail-based ones. It's not applicable to the Jim's model. Jim's, for me, is completely separate outside of that. And I've seen what Jim's can do for people in terms of changing their lives. And a great example is a guy called Dan Cahill, who was actually a guest on our show. You know, and Dan's come from being manager of McDonald's, 25, bit of financial trouble, and then Jim's basically saved him, and he turned over 300 grand in his first year, I think 450 or something in his 18 months or second year. And now he's a highly successful business person at the age of 26. He's far more successful than me. He's probably making me think I should do it. But that's what gyms can do for people. And that's what we need to start trying to tell more and more and more, and try and do it in an authentic way. I think giving people info packs and real prepared videos with some wishy-washy music over the background is great, has a time and a place. But I think just being authentic and transparent, doing it with a live platform, is a really good way to do it. So that's been the other benefit to it. That probably went on for too long.
No, it's good. That's good.
Welcome everyone to Jim's live stream. So just wondering if anyone has any questions for us today. I think that's Leah. Yes, Leah. My name is Joel and I work at the National Office, and this is Jim. Say hi, Jim. Hi. So we're going to discuss franchising and the benefits of it. Take it away, Jim. Thanks, Joel. So I've been franchising for 30 years. Obviously, you all know that we started with Jim's Mowing, where I sold rounds. Thanks, Jim. Jim? I love villains. So I'm not sure if anyone watched the live stream last week, but Joel was a little bit insulted that I said that he had no skills. Yes, Jim, that wasn't very nice. Well, let's all be honest. What do you do in the office? You said last week, I think it was Instagram, that you're the CEO. Where does that leave me? Jim, I've had this argument with all the staff. I'm not the CEO, I'm the CDO. Like doctor and dinosaur. Okay, so now we have that straight. Joel is not the CEO. He is the CDO. So back to franchising. Jim, you like The Simpsons, don't you? Joel, we're talking about franchising, not The Simpsons. Sorry, I get easily sidetracked.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Have you ever been to a nightclub?
Never. I've actually looked inside a nightclub once when I was in...
Looked inside? What'd you do? Well, you just look inside the door and just go, not for me, boy.
Once in year 12, I was going to this sort of United Nations gathering thing in the city. Yeah. And I got to the wrong place, and I looked and I opened the door and there was a nightclub there, so I just shut the door. That was the closest I've ever come to that.
Do you remember what it was called at all?
Classic. I'm going to go off script a little bit and I want to collect. A few months ago, Jim, you promised me a knighthood. You might not remember why.
I promised you a knighthood.
On one of these live things, you promised me a knighthood for being partially responsible, she's not here now, for bringing Sharon Connell into the group. So I'm here to collect. So how do I...
I will knight you.
Good.
What about share some of the commission, maybe?
There's a good
I
idea.
am quite open. If anybody can come up with a sword, you can kneel down there, and I will knight you, Sir Stephen, on the spot.
Not
I
necessary.
promise.
Will a whippersnipper do?
Whippersnipper.
Whippersnipper, definitely white whippersnipper.
Sorry?
Or actually, no, Steve's in Queen, so I'll knight him with a mop.
Not so important after all.
Rachel off camera gave me a little butter knife. So do you want to be knighted or not, Steve? You don't want it? Seriously? You want to knight Steve with a butter knife?
I will do it.
You will do it if you want, I don't know.
A mop, a broom,
It'd be
anything
a great
you
little
like.
clip. Come on. You're going to knight it. Yeah, you have to kneel down here. What? Now to kneel. Sir Jim.
All right. I want you, Sir Stephen.
There we go. The ring is down here. Thanks for that, Stephen. Thanks for being willing participant. Thanks for
I think
Rachel.
it's a great thing. We ought to actually, instead of having the awards, we should be knighting people.
Or knifing as
Some franchise
Don't you reckon that'd make a
time,
great thing for our national conference?
Well, at the gala
We have-
dinner.
At the gala dinner, we have knighthoods instead of awards.
Okay, yeah, we could try that.
I-
We
I-
can put it in place.
Will it on FMS now? Will it change to Sir Steve? Is it
Sir Stephen?
We can up that quite
I
easily.
think it
though.
needs to be.
Sir Stephen Warren.
And when the divisional speaks to him, he has to speak Sir Stephen.
That's
you know?
right.
Well, actually,
What's your favourite alcoholic drink, Jim?
let me tell you, I did actually have a drink of alcohol. I had one last year, which was the first time in about 45 years. And a friend of mine was getting married, and went to a church service, and there was communion. So I had red wine from there. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Did you enjoy it?
no, not really. It's disgusting. I only drunk in my whole life for a period of about a year. I didn't really like the taste of it anyway. I never liked the taste. Don't like the effects. I don't like alcohol. Sorry, I know you're holding, but
He's not judging you much.
nah, that's all right. If you want to be a drunkard and a sock, go ahead, drink your booze. But I think it's, I don't know. I don't like it.
Thank you.
What do you got there?
Roni, quite nice actually. You should try one.
No, I tell you what, the best drink is Wham. Hot water and milk. In fact, I use soy milk. You put about that much soy milk into a cup, the rest filled with hot water. That is the drink of kings. That beats what you're drinking, hands down.
I don't know if I agree. 'Cause I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I think I'd go the
And it doesn't rot your liver either.
We'll go over to Aiden. This could be a fun one.
Jim, first
You got a
of
big
all,
grin on your face there. You must be something bad coming out.
what was that?
There's a big grin on your face, big cheesy grin. I can tell something's
Okay.
coming out of this.
First of all, do you have a favourite Christmas carol, and could you kindly sing it for us all?
Listen, we have got an audience of kind. If I start singing, we'll lose everybody, believe me.
We could do Jim's karaoke. Jim's joke doesn't work, but we haven't tried Jim's karaoke. You got to have a Christmas carol.
I don't know, Jay, I have to remind you, I pay your wages. If you keep on being rude to me, you might find yourself with a zero pay packet one of these days.
Your Christmas bonus is nothing. No pay that week.
I can remember the year I first became a Christian listening to carols like Little Town of Bethlehem. And you know, it's not so musically great, but it's just this music that I've heard all my life, and suddenly you know what it means. It was quite an amazing experience. I can remember that vividly. I'm not going to sing it though.
How does that sound? I was just about to say, I can't actually remember that one. Can you, how does it go?
Just a little.
Just a little, just the first couple of words.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie.
That's pretty good. That's as much as I can do for you. Thank you. That's about as much as I can do for you.
I can recite stuff. One of these days I'll recite Jabberwocky to you.
Oh, go on. We've got time.
Was Brilligan the slidey toad, did gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy were the borogoves and the main wraths outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the claws that bite, the jaws that snatch. Beware the Jub bird and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he thought. Then rested he by a tum-tum tree and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, The Jabberwock with eyes of flame came waffling through the tolgy wood and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal's sword went stick-a-stack. He left it dead, and with his head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O fragile day, Calloo Calais, he chortled in his joy.
I don't know whether that does it for you, Aidan.
And believe me, that is a lot better than my singing.
There's even one rule in life that I know as a single fella, and that's never ever criticise your wife's or partner's cooking. And that's exactly what Jim Penman did here. And to my surprise, he got away with it. So watch the clip to find out why, and some content actually gives you context to it. But that was a great episode. So if you go back and watch this one, we did have Jim's wife, Lee, on. And the reason behind that is because Jim always referenced Lee as the best business decision he ever made. And we just want to show you who the person was behind the man. And it was great to have Lee on. And it was a really fun episode. But as I said, you just watch the clip for some context, because he didn't mean exactly harsh as what it sounded, but you can understand why from watching the clip. Haydar has gone. I hear that Lee is an awesome cook. Is that a passion, and how did you learn?
Question. I actually like it. The only problem is my family don't really enjoy my Chinese food, which is such a pity because I'm really good at it.
But your Chinese food is weird. It's all sort of
pickles Chinese food. I'll have some of that.
You guys
no, this is nothing like Cantonese food. This is Sichuanese food, which is incredibly hot.
Not really.
It's some sort of disgusting pickle thing with rice porridge and
that is totally not true.
She actually can cook pretty well, but not what she likes.
Not my Sichuan food. No one can take it.
She'll make nice food for us, and then she'll sit there having this awful stuff in the corner. Nobody else wants to touch it.
I'm sure it's not that bad, is it?
Yeah, my food always loses to cheese.
It is worse. It is worse.
Unfortunately.
Believe me, no normal human would eat what they eat in Sichuan. I'm sorry to say, it's awful. Just at home. My wife's a pretty good cook.
You have complained about her cooking before.
She's actually.
It's on video. It's on video. We had Lee on the live stream, and Jim spent a good 2-3 minutes laying into her cooking. It was too spicy. It was too spicy. That's what you said.
Oh no, that's the stuff that she eats. The herd food is disgusting. This is like rice porridge and pickles and stuff. No normal human being eats that stuff. What she cooks for us is very nice. She does a really good veggie lasagna. Beautiful. She's just got the recipe, and everybody loves it. In fact, she makes this huge thing, and we eat some of it, and the rest of it goes in the next couple of days. No, Lee can cook well. It's her food that's horrible. So what happens at the table? We're all having this lovely vegetable lasagna, very cheesy, probably not, it's a lot of vegetables, really, really good stuff. And she's sitting there with her pickles and her rice porridge, and that's what I was having a go at. Come on.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, not her cooking, it was the thing she cooks for herself.
She cooks for herself. It's absolutely disgusting. And Sichuanese food is so hot. It's horrible. I mean, no normal person could eat this stuff and like it. I tell you what.
Hi, Jim. Has anyone ever cut your grass?
Does anyone cut your grass?
Yeah. The people from the conference center, we've got a rider on, they go over and cut mine, which is 5 acres next door. But I cut my own grass at the farm. At my farm. I do that. Yeah. That's what I use my AEG for.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Brilliant. Nothing else.
No, actually, myself, I actually prefer gardening. I like getting out there with the spade and the shovel and slashing bracken and taking weeds out and stuff. I really enjoy that more than mowing lawns these days.
Thanks for that question, Pedro. We'll move on. Next question's from Jim. Jim. Great name, Jim.
What is the biggest challenge you've had to overcome while starting the Jim's group, and how did you overcome this? Cheers, Jim.
The biggest challenge I've had to overcome was getting divorced. I'm sorry to say. A stable marriage is the best thing anybody can do, and divorce is the worst thing that can happen to anybody. Emotionally, quite a lot, but also financially. So that's.
I think Jade's a bit younger at that. I think Jade's a younger fellow, I reckon. So I don't think he's at the marrying stage yet.
I don't really know what's my biggest challenge. I mean, I'm not very good at doing a lot of things, actually, Jaden. I mean, this is the strange thing. I was talking to my wife tonight, and in a lot of ways, she's much more capable in business than I am. She just gets in to learn something, and I don't do that very well. I was very good at lawn mowing contractor. I could make a lawn look really good, really fast. And I was very good at turning up on time and all this kind of stuff and digging over a garden bed. But the hardest thing is finding people to help you out, really. That's the learning, finding the right people and learning to recognise the right people. At every stage of business, it's a challenge. Like when you're working by yourself, you can give great service, and that's okay. But then you want to put an offsider in, and that's a challenge. And then you want to put somebody to work independently of you, which I did with my subbies, and that's really hard.
Challenge.
And then you franchise and you learn to do that a bit better. And then you realise you need people to help you look after your franchisees. So you've got to put franchisors. Then you've got to have staff at national office. So at every stage, every time you lift the level from sole operator to employer to franchisor to having franchisors, it's always a learning curve. I still make mistakes. I take on people who are very inappropriate. I just don't recognise it. It takes a long time to figure out. I mean, I've been going in business now since 1982 full time, which is 45 years. And I'm just starting to begin to figure out how to do this thing.
But you have the vision.
I always had the vision, and I always had the ambition and the drive and the need for better customer service and the need for service to my franchise. I always had the right idea, but making it happen is really hard.
Yeah. What type of support?
But it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Last question for Jim, as he's a Richmond man. People think you go for Richmond because obviously back in the day, that Punt Road thing. He's gone, how many goals will Richmond win by tonight?
I have never in my whole life been to a AFL match, so I'm sorry to say it's disappointing. It's amazing how many times people think that I would put my franchisees' advertising money into Richmond because I was a Richmond supporter. It was purely for the sake of finding my guys' work.
If you had to pick a team, who would it be? It'd be Essendon, wouldn't it? The Essendon Bombers there. I'm going to answer on his behalf and say Essendon. Jim's an Essendon man, so if you are any involvement in Essendon, send us a bunch of stuff.
My kids used to ask me when I was younger, they couldn't believe I didn't advertise, didn't promote, didn't barrack for a team. So I always said Buganda, which was an African kingdom. So I just,
what'd you say?
Buganda. I refused to tell them.
Buganda or Uganda?
Buganda.
Buganda.
Buganda
Right.
was the original sort of kingdom about which the country of Uganda was built.
Hi, this question's for Jim. Jim, do you have an exit strategy for yourself?
Yes, it's called a funeral.
I was hoping that wasn't the answer.
Okay. I don't intend to retire. I'll probably with time I'll work less. But frankly, I'm 67 now. I do not feel any different to 30 years ago. I really don't. I feel full of energy. It's so fun. Jim's is so fun right now. It's just fantastic business. There's so much going on. All this new software we're developing, all the new social media stuff we're doing. It's the greatest buzz around. And there's people who are 20 years older than me, like Rupert Murdoch, who are still active. Why shouldn't I be? It's just enjoyable. Why would I want to retire? True. It's a great life. I love being in business. I enjoy it so much. I find it hard. What I find really hard is when it's like over Christmas and New Year, where the office closes down for a week. I get a bit stir crazy. I don't know what to do with myself. There's only so many computer games you can play, and I just love it. And actually, I'm in very good health. Based on I don't smoke or anything like that. Good weight, everything. Exercise a lot. Very happy, churchgoer, all the rest of it. I expect to live at least another 20 years. And if there ever gets to be the stage of rejuvenation, which I'm watching that very carefully in the pages of New Scientist and anywhere else, I'll be first in the queue. with my wife, of course.
So you obviously invested back in the business, but do you have any other investments on the side, like properties or anything like that?
Oh no. The properties I buy are basically for use. I don't buy properties to let them out.
Right. Okay, there we go. So thanks for that question, Jared.
I think it's actually a good idea though. At the moment, I reckon the property market's going to skyrocket.
You should get a few. If you get me one, I'll take it. It's all right. You can put it in my name, reduce your tax, all that sort of stuff.
Listen, you're already obscenely overpaid. You can afford your own property investment.
That's true. I can barely feed my family, Jim, as it is.
He's not married.
No.
He goes off to Thailand every now and then, so I don't know what goes on there.
Yeah, you don't want to say where I go. I'm not going there this year. I'm going somewhere else, but you don't want to give it away.
But, they believe that marriage can be forever, so you're actually literally married to the same person for time and eternity, and you keep on having kids in the afterlife.
I couldn't think of anything worse. I know you might be...
That's why you go off to Thailand.
That's true. Yeah. I'm going to South America this year, so I'm mixing it up. Okay, this is another one of my favourite clips because it just reinforces one of the reasons why we do AskJIM, and that's to have transparency in franchising. So unfortunately, we know at the moment franchising is a massive clickbait article for news.com.au for a current affair, these type of shows, because we have a lot of franchisees, unfortunately, in the retail-based ones like your retail food group sectors, those ones where you have to buy from certain suppliers, all that sort of stuff, doing it really, really tough at the moment. As soon as one of them goes bust, they go to the media, creates a massive storm, and it's bad for the industry in general. So what we try and do with the gyms group stuff is we try and put everything transparent online. Sometimes that might be bad, sometimes, but we think a lot more is good. So the reason why this would be a good one is because Polizoi, I think he's a gyms fencing franchisee out in the West, and I think he watched around 8 or 9, and every week we kept saying, come to gyms, there's so much unserviced work in this one, come to gyms, there's so much unserviced work. And he eventually did, and then once he started as a franchisee, he's gone, boys, in the first 2 weeks I've had 60 unserviced, 60 leads, I don't know what to do with myself. So it just sort of validates them, someone watching us, vetting us via the AskJIM show, then making the decision to come on board and actually going, wow, it was exactly what you said to us. So that's the whole reason of doing it, is to have some transparency in franchising. We're definitely the only company in terms of our size, and especially in franchising, that does this in Australia. And it's more for this sort of aspect, just to have transparency. Anyone who's a prospect or thinking about joining gyms can just come on in a transparent forum and hold Jim accountable online to what he says as well, which I think is really important. So this is a great one. There's been many examples of this as well. Hope Polizoi, who if you're watching, is still doing really well. Polizoi's gone, I'm looking to become a franchise in fencing. What the demand is like for this? What a question.
Oh, over the top. It's something like 60% unserviced.
Yeah.
We've got about 130. We could do with at least as many again.
The fencing person has asked, thanks for that, Jim, what's the western suburbs like in terms of unserviced leads? I presume it's high. So
It's terrible. It's all over. There's just so much work around. Look, what you can do, if you're interested in a franchise, get the franchisor to show you. They'll actually print out a list.
Yes.
You say, how many in your region, in this area, what unserviced leads have you had in the past, say 2 months, and you go, pop, 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 look. And you can see a list like this. It'll just show you every one. It'll actually show you where they are and everything like that.
That's a good point, Jim. Rather than just relying on them telling you, you actually get them to show the evidence. And they can show you the evidence from the system. We have a report which
we can tell you how many there's been, how many in each suburb, how many of each service. We can do all of this.
That's it. That's a great one. We hope you inquire 131546 or via the website. Now this one's a good comment because I know. So his name is Polizoi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. He goes, hi, I'm very excited to be part of the gym's family. Just started our 8 weeks training in fencing. He jumped on the live feed probably, I reckon, 6 weeks ago or whatever and asked about fencing. We said, well, I think it was before that, and said, put an inquiry in. So now he's coming and doing fencing.
Great. Wow.
So it's great.
He does have integrity. I don't think anybody who works for me any length of time lacks integrity, or he'd pretty quickly come out of it.
That's true. Yeah. Actually, Jim hires on character. You look for character, as you can see.
Much more than experience.
Correct.
Joel had no relevant experience at all, but he's got great character.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
So coming in at number 5 is Ben Ward's great story, and I won't go into exactly what it is about, so you have to watch it. But Ben is a great character of gyms. He's been around for nearly 20 years, and he used to be the national training manager as well before Mike Davenport took that over in dubious circumstances. But Ben tells this story, and I would have loved to have seen Jim's face and actually seen Ben's face at the time. I could have imagined the worry when he had to tell Jim this one. So make sure you check it out.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the day you crashed Jim's bus?
So the training course used to go from 7 a.m. till 9 at night, and there was no accommodation on site. So they used to finish the training at 9 o'clock. 3 of the 5 days went till 9 o'clock at night, which was long days, but unlike Mike, I didn't have staff to help, so I was in at 6. It got to 5 o'clock on the Friday, the sessions had finished, and we had to run the trainees back across to Lilydale to their accommodation. And I think I was probably planning my weekend and was maybe on the telephone trying to call some mates of mine to get them all fired up for what was on for the weekend. And a water bottle knocked off. One of the trainees left a water bottle on the centre seat of the bus, and it had rolled underneath the brake pedal. And so I was driving along, probably not looking in front of me properly, and went to put the brakes on and got the water there, and the brake didn't work.
So number 4, just be prepared, people. Get those Kleenex out, wipe those tears away after you see this, because there's no more beautiful sight that you will see, especially in the gym's world. And make sure if you do see it, please share it and like it and tell your friends about it, But it's one of the most iconic moments that we have seen on AskJIM, and that's why it's at number 4. So last week, Aaron Aldridge via the Jim's Mowing page left, why did you get rid of your awesome beard? Now today I've sort of, yeah.
All right. Well, look, back in those days, which was 2000, I looked like this, if you can see. And you can see the beard there, it's going grey. I was single at the time. I wanted to find the right lady. I don't need to look grey.
So for old time's sake, we'll get you to put the hat on.
I will wear the hat.
Now, number 3 is an absolute ripper as well. It was one of my favourite clips just because of what happened as a result after it. And it reinforces the power of social media to Jim. And Jim actually did get a couple of calls from people regarding this post when it did go up online. And hopefully it hasn't caused him any issues since with it, with all this sort of stuff. But it's something that comes up all the time. It's so synonymous with gyms. It does make sense. I won't even have to go into any further. But check out the clip to see why. So I get to another question here from Job, and we get this question a lot because we've got conferences this week. It's quite appropriate. When will the indoor gym be done? So when will Jim have his own gym?
Oh my goodness, the Yarra Ranges Council is horrible. Worst council in the state. We've been fighting with them. You wouldn't believe. I wouldn't even tell you what they've done lately.
So you got it approved, didn't you? You haven't got it approved.
No, we're still fighting over it. They want some building to be done to safe from fire. I mean, I don't know why building a gym should mean that suddenly we're at great fire risk, and it's incredible. Every time you get everything done, they say, oh, here's another thing you've got to do. And here's another expert you've got to do, and there's another expert, and then they've got to fight it out and work out between themselves. It is the most unbelievably hard thing. And like last week we had 5 people asking for a gym. We want to put a gym, but the council, it's been 2 years just to put a gym in. You would think it would be so easy.
So for the young people watching at home who flick that Jim's gym meme around, what's the council we can tag? And
Yarra Ranges.
Yarra Ranges,
the worst council in the state, if not the country.
DM that logo. Jim needs a gym. Get it going. Jim needs a gym. Hashtag DM the Yarra Council Rangers.
Yarra Ranges Council.
Yarra Ranges Council on their Facebook and Instagram. If they've got one, DM them and smash them with it.
Yeah.
And get Jim his gym.
They are horrible.
All right, so we want that meme to come to life. Actually have Jim in his gym. And we'll take some workout videos if you're in the gym. Now, we know how much you love the council, Jim. I just want to get this one into you. Nicholas Walton's going, Jim, what is your opinion on council rates going up despite house prices falling?
Well, I don't know which council you're talking about. If the council does their job well, I think that they probably deserve to get paid. But and I want to say, I have a lot of angst about our local council, but I know that there are councils in Melbourne and Brest who are fantastic, and they've got a lot of really great people who look after local residents.
But not this one.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of whether you do your job well. If you're doing your job well and you're maintaining the roads and you're looking after local facilities, you deserve to get paid for it. But if you're sitting back doing stuff all, except running left-wing greeny campaigns against toxic masculinity, and that thinks as your total obligation, I think any rates at all are too much.
Yeah, that's my.
I thank those who've actually approached the local council for me, complaining they wouldn't let us put our gym up, and some useless functionary from the council got up and actually tried to pretend that it was us that wouldn't. The big problem, as I said before, is the fact that we have to take some trees out for the fire. But they say, oh, that's against green conservation, and so they wouldn't make a decision. And they actually had the cheek to say that you want to retain the trees. And I said, no, I don't. We've planted 1,000 trees. I don't mind taking 3 trees away to reduce the fire risk. It's you guys that are doing this, not me. Oh, it made me so mad.
So the council did.
I started yelling at her actually. She said, "You've got to keep on yelling, I'll hang up."
So the harassment from people to the council did work. They did do a couple of big comments.
Well, it didn't work. She just rang up and seemed to think she'd solved the whole problem for me by just simply saying, "Oh, it's all your fault."
Yeah, they did make it out to be it's like our fault, but as you said, you got pretty animated with her. And
oh, jeepers creepers! You know, people hate this council. You just talk about Yarra Ranges Shire and the venom, the hatred. I have never known any level of government, federal anything, that's ever had the same level of hatred as our local Yarra Ranges Council. Oh, they're horrible.
Handyman love working for Yarra Ranges Council. So
they don't endorse these comments.
Don't endorse these comments.
Okay. Like this video if you've got a problem with your council, or give them a shout out saying actually they're all right. So
you love them, but you never try to get permits off them.
They grant our customers permits, so thank you very much, Yarra Ranges.
And actually, big news, after how many years the Shire of Yarra Ranges has given us permission to have our sporting complex.
It's going in. It's happened. Gym for gym.
Yeah.
Right,
So within about 6 months, people are coming here. And those who come back can actually have a game of racquetball, heated pool, gymnasium, everything. We've been asked for years by franchisees, and we just couldn't get it past the council.
I can't believe we're 30 minutes in and it hasn't come up. We've been sitting here talking waffle, and the gym for gym is going to be
just got the news on Monday.
All right, that is fantastic.
So welcome to clip number 2. We're nearly there to the number 1 clip, which hopefully you can guess what it is. Now, this is the favourite accents that Jim does. So before I asked Jim, I had no idea he used to be an improvisational actor back when he was a young man. And he has a whole plethora of accents which you can pull out from time to time. Never pulled these out of the office. It's only an Ask Jim. He has a Scottish accent, Irish, Northern Irish, and especially a German accent, which he loves to do. And he does a really good one, to be honest. It's not too bad. I think he bases it on the old Sergeant Schultz from Hogan's Heroes, and I think he references that quite a bit. But he does have them. They're quite funny. And people out there, please don't take him too seriously. He's just joking around with this sort of stuff. And he loves doing them. And hopefully we can do some more in 2020 from some other countries.
German is good. German is a great accent. It really sounds. I mean, just German sounds like you're swearing. Really. It does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I've only counted up to 10. 100. We have ways of making your talk.
So welcome to number 1. So thank you for watching the clips so far and joining us, and we hope you are enjoying them. Number 1 had to be this. It had to be Jim's evil laugh. It couldn't have been anything else. That laugh, when that happened, I had no idea it was going to happen. I've never heard Jim do anything like this before in the office. I had no reason to believe he would do anything like this, and my face pretty much sums it up as well. And I know Haydar was there as well, and Haydar sort of mimicked me and put her hands going, what is this going on here? How do we get out of this one? How do we transition? And the audience loved it. So it just shows that Jim, it is really live. There's no screening to it whatsoever. And I think the character's name is Marvin Murgatroyd. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I've tried to Google it. I can't even spell it. But it happens out every now and again. So I probably think we've done it 3 to 4 times on Ask Jim's The Evil Laugh. And it's so consistent. It's just like a golf shot. He's a pro golfer with it. Just bang, bang, bang. Every time it can be on cue. So I want someone at training, when you come down in 2020, please ask him to do an evil laugh for you in person. Because I do want to see if he can rip it out in front of you there. But the evil laugh had to be number 1. There was going to be nothing else. And you can get it as a gift by searching in Jim Penman, Jim's group, or Jim's Mowing in the gift keyboard, which you can download and use and send to your friends as well.
And I'm creeping up on him, and I'm telling the kids, shh, like this. And he's saying something like, "Oh, kids, if you see the bad guy, you just let me know." And it's yelling and screaming, and he's there. It's where? He doesn't understand. So you get the kids absolutely hysterical. So you play to the audience. That is so much fun. I love being the villain. Actually, you know what? You want me to do a villain's laugh?
Oh, we'll go for it. We'll cut That's your acting days. You enjoy. There you go. If there's
we did a school play, and I was Munro Murgatroyd, the villain.
Oh, I had no idea. Derek Spice has gone, any chance of the evil laugh, Jim? Joel loves it, question mark. That's it from Derek.
You want the evil laugh? You think so? You think they can handle it?
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you for watching the clip countdown, and a big thanks to Jake and Ben, who are content creators at Jim's, who have done a great job putting all the clips together throughout the year and listening to all my demands and ideas and putting them together and making us look good. So big thanks to them. Massive also thanks to everyone who watches every week. There are so many people who watch every week and leave a comment, a question and share and give us some support. It really does mean a lot to myself and to Jim as well. Jim still can't believe people want to watch him actually talk about stuff. So it's great to be able to provide a facility for Jim and you to get a bit closer and to sort of break down those walls. So we really do hope to do more of that. And also members of the public. We have people who watch every week who aren't even members of the Jim's family, and that's been great. So we do really thank you for your support, and hope to see you on the live stream more in 2020. So from everyone at Jim's Group, we wish you have a happy new year and a safe break, continuing to stay safe and get those goals set for 2020, and we hope to see you on the live stream on January the 8th.